Have you ever gotten so lost in a game that it's like you're really there, like you can feel the world around you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was playing in a tabletop RPG just the other night, and it was set in this huge jungle temple.
Cool.
I tried to describe all these crazy carvings on the walls, and the air was so thick and humid, with the smell of incense and like decay.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't find the words. It was so frustrating.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
As a dungeon master, it's hard to come up with those really vivid descriptions.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to keep the game moving.
Right.
But maybe there's a way to make it easier. Did you see that article?
You mean the one on LitRPG Reads?
Yeah, about AI and world building.
Immersive D&D worlds made easy with AI.
Yeah. Written by Paul Bellow.
Yeah, published just on January 16th. It's really gotten people talking. It's pretty amazing how AI can help us create these super realistic places.
Yeah, like having your own world building assistant.
Hmm.
I remember trying to describe this futuristic city in my last sci-fi campaign. It was after a storm.
Oh, wow.
And I just couldn't get the words right. But imagine if I could have used AI to describe those like shimmering holographic billboards reflecting off the wet streets.
Yeah.
With the sound of hovercrafts mixed with that pulsing synth music from a club.
That would have been so cool. And the best part is, AI can adapt to the feel of your campaign. Like if your game is dark and gritty,
Right.
AI can emphasize the creepy parts of a place. Like the silence of an empty tomb, or that faint smell of blood in the dust. But if you're running a more fun, lighthearted game, AI can bring out the charm, like the sound of birds in a sunny forest,
I love it.
or the sweet smell of wildflowers.
Like AI could really change the game when it comes to creating those dynamic NPCs too. I'm always trying to make my NPCs feel more real, but coming up with backstories and stuff on the spot,
Totally.
it can be hard. What if you could just give AI a couple of keywords and boom, you've got a complete character?
That's exactly what the article talks about. Think about it. Instead of just saying gruff bartender, you could tell AI, like, former soldier haunted by a past mission now finds peace brewing strong ales.
Interesting.
And instantly you'd get a character with a name, a history, even how they talk.
Wow, that's so cool. You could have AI create all these weird shopkeepers, each with their own secrets. Or a group of mysterious travelers with stories from faraway lands.
Yeah.
It would add so much depth and intrigue to any setting.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making things interesting, it's about making characters feel real. The article even talks about how AI can weave player backstories into the campaign. It makes the players feel more connected to the world, like their choices really matter.
I love that. It makes their characters feel like they truly belong in the world. And speaking of making things matter, the article mentioned how AI can help DMs design some pretty awesome creatures too. I'm assuming we're not just talking about your average orc or goblin here, right?
Definitely not. Imagine creating creatures with unique powers and backstories that are tied to the lore of your campaign.
Okay, now you've got me hooked.
Instead of just a plain old fire elemental, you could have AI help you create something born from the heart of a fallen star, with powers that can bend reality.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
It would definitely shake things up and make players think differently about how they fight. Plus, designing cool monsters takes a lot of time and energy, right?
For sure. That's why I was so interested in what the article said about AI helping with session prep. Think about it. You could use AI to create encounter maps, dialogue, even summaries of past sessions. It would be a huge help.
It would be like having another DM working behind the scenes to make your life easier.
Exactly. Imagine AI helping you design a crazy dungeon full of traps, puzzles, and secret rooms. Or maybe you need help writing a tense scene where players are negotiating with a powerful fae creature.
That would free up so much time and energy to focus on the parts of D&D we love the most. Telling stories, role-playing, and going on adventures with our players.
Exactly. And get this. The article isn't just about helping the DM. It also talks about how AI can help players contribute to the world building.
That's really interesting. What do you mean? How can players use AI?
Just imagine giving players the tools to design their own factions, create local legends, or even come up with unique cultural traditions.
Oh, wow.
It would be like giving them a set of world-building blocks to play with.
I love that. It would help players see the world as a whole and add to its depth and complexity.
Yeah.
They'd be shaping the story and setting instead of just reacting to what the DM creates.
Exactly. And that could lead to some truly amazing storytelling experiences.
Yeah.
Where the lines between DM and player get blurry and everyone feels like they're part of building the world.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
But with any powerful tool, there have to be some ethical considerations.
Oh, definitely. The article really stresses the importance of using AI responsibly. It's a tool to boost our creativity, not replace it.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance where AI enriches the game without taking away the human element.
It's definitely a tricky balance, but it sounds like it's worth exploring. We have to be careful how we use AI, making sure it doesn't make all our games the same or take away from what each DM and player brings to the table.
Absolutely. We should see AI as a partner who helps us be creative, not something that replaces our own imagination and cleverness.
Right. Now, the article did mention specific AI tools for D&D, like ChatGPT, LitRPG Adventures Workshop, and Claude.
Yes.
I'd love to learn more about how those work and how we can start using them in our games.
Me too. Let's dive into those AI tools and see how they can help us take our D&D games to the next level.
Okay, so let's talk about these AI tools that can bring all these awesome D&D ideas to life.
You mentioned a few from the article: ChatGPT, LitRPG Adventures Workshop, and Claude.
Right.
I've definitely heard of ChatGPT. It feels like it's everywhere right now.
It is. ChatGPT is this huge language model made by OpenAI. It can do so many things.
Yeah.
You can use it for anything, like writing code or even poems.
Wow.
But for D&D, it's really good at making text. So, like, if I wanted to describe a spooky abandoned mine, I could just ask ChatGPT to do it for me.
Exactly. You could type something like, describe an abandoned mine with creepy whispers and echoes.
Okay.
And ChatGPT might give you something like, the air is heavy with the smell of wet earth and old metal. A cold breeze blows through the creaky wood, carrying faint whispers from long-dead miners.
Whoa, that's actually pretty good. Way better than I could do off the top of my head. It would definitely set the mood for a scary dungeon crawl.
And you can make the description even better by giving ChatGPT more details. You can tell it what kind of mood you want, what it should focus on.
Yeah.
It's like having your own custom description maker.
That's amazing. But can ChatGPT do more than just descriptions?
Oh yeah, definitely. It can also do dialogue.
Really?
Imagine instantly creating dialogue for a shady merchant or a mysterious oracle. It would save you so much time and effort, especially when you need to improvise.
I can see that being super helpful during a game. Sometimes my players ask unexpected questions and I'm stuck trying to come up with a good response.
I know, right?
With ChatGPT, I could have a bunch of dialogue options ready to go.
And speaking of being prepared, ChatGPT can even help with planning your story.
Oh, interesting.
You could use it to brainstorm quest ideas, encounters, or even the whole storyline for your campaign. It's like having a brainstorming buddy who's always down to play what if.
I love that. It's always fun to bounce ideas off other people, but sometimes it's hard to find someone who loves D&D as much as I do. ChatGPT could be the perfect solution for those late-night brainstorming sessions when you're trying to come up with something new.
Exactly. But ChatGPT isn't the only AI tool that can help us with D&D. Remember the article mentioned LitRPG Adventures Workshop.
Yeah, LitRPG Adventures Workshop. What's special about that one?
LitRPG Adventures Workshop is made specifically for creating immersive worlds and stories. It has tons of features for world building, making characters, and adding depth to your plot.
I'm all about making things immersive. Tell me more.
One thing that sets LitRPG Adventures Workshop apart is its focus on backstories.
Yeah.
You can put in basic information about a character, like their race, class, and background. Then the AI fills in their history with all these cool details about their family, motivations, their biggest wins and losses.
I love giving my players detailed backstories, but sometimes I struggle to come up with things that feel unique and exciting. This sounds like a game changer.
It can be. Imagine instantly creating a backstory for a rogue who's actually a rich kid, but had to run away after discovering a dark family secret. Or a barbarian raised by wolves learning to fight alongside them.
Those sound awesome. My NPCs would feel so much more real and interesting. And it would give my players more to work with when creating their characters.
And it's not just about individual characters. LitRPG Adventures Workshop can help you make whole factions with their own histories, goals, and internal conflicts.
Wow.
You could use it to create a secret cult trying to overthrow the king.
Wow.
Or a peaceful group of druids who protect the forest.
That would make the world feel so alive and dynamic. It would give my players so many more ways to interact with the world and affect what happens.
That's the point.
Right.
And if you're looking for unique magical items, spells, even a whole pantheon of gods, LitRPG Adventures Workshop has got you covered.
Okay, I am definitely adding LitRPG Adventures Workshop to my D&D toolkit.
Right.
What about Claude? What can it do?
Claude is another AI tool that's getting a lot of attention for creative stuff. It's known for really understanding and responding to complex requests.
So like a super-powered version of ChatGPT.
You could say that, but Claude's real strength is its awareness of context. It's really good at making decisions based on the specific situation and the information it has.
That sounds perfect for D&D.
Yeah.
Our games can get pretty crazy, with players constantly doing things we don't expect.
Exactly. Imagine your players ditch the main quest and go off on some random adventure. You can tell Claude what's happening, what the players are doing, and what your overall goals are for the campaign. Then it can help you figure out the consequences, adjust the story, even come up with new plot points.
That would be incredible. I could focus on role-playing and interacting with my players, knowing that the story is taken care of.
It would also make your games more dynamic and unpredictable. You wouldn't need pre-written scripts anymore. You could just embrace the chaos knowing that Claude can help you turn it into a great story.
That's so cool. But Claude's not just about dealing with the unexpected, right?
Nope. It's also great at keeping your story consistent. You can tell it about your world's lore, the tone you want, and the main themes. Then it can make sure that anything it creates fits with that vision.
That's really important. I wouldn't want my world to feel like a bunch of random things that don't belong together.
Claude can help you avoid that. It's all about using AI to make your story better, not to tell the story for you.
This is all so exciting. I'm starting to see how AI can really change how we play D&D. But I'm still a bit nervous to use it in my own games. It's a lot to think about.
I get it. It's a big decision to bring AI into something as personal and creative as D&D.
Yeah.
The best way to start is small and just experiment.
Good advice. So what would you recommend for a DM who's curious about AI but doesn't know where to start?
I'd say start with something easy, like using ChatGPT to make a few descriptions of places or characters.
Okay.
See what you think of the results, try different things, and get a feel for how it works. You can also play around with LitRPG Adventures Workshop to make backstories or factions.
That sounds doable. I'm excited to try these tools out and see what they can do.
I think you'll be surprised at how good they are. But always remember, AI is a tool. It's not here to replace our creativity and ideas.
Right.
It's about finding that perfect balance where AI can make our D&D experience better without taking away the things that make it so special. The human element.
I'm starting to feel a lot more positive about the future of D&D. AI could open up so many new possibilities, making our games more immersive, engaging, and fun than ever before.
I completely agree. And speaking of possibilities, the author of the article, Paul Bellow, really paints an amazing picture of what D&D could be like with AI, helping us create worlds and tell stories. It's a future where DMs and players work together to create unforgettable experiences.
That's a future I definitely want to be a part of. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about the potential problems and challenges of using AI in our D&D campaigns.
Good point.
How can we use AI well and make sure it makes our games better without losing that special human spark? Yeah, it's really cool to think about all the ways AI can help us make these awesome D&D games, but like with anything new, there are going to be some bumps in the road. What are some of the challenges we should keep in mind when bringing AI into our games?
Well, one thing that worries me is that everything might start to feel the same. You know, if we all use the same AI tools to make stuff, our campaigns could end up feeling really similar.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want my game world to feel like a copy of someone else's. The things that make each campaign special are those unique details and personal touches that each DM brings.
Exactly. It's like with anything creative. If you rely too much on pre-made templates or formulas, you lose that special something that makes your work stand out.
So how can we use AI to help us be more creative instead of less creative?
I think the trick is to use AI as a starting point, not the finished product. We should think of the stuff AI makes as raw material, something we can shape and mold to fit our own vision.
So instead of just taking whatever the AI gives us, we should be changing it and making it our own.
Exactly. It's like using a paintbrush. The AI gives you the colors, but you're the one who creates the painting.
That's a great way to think about it. It also reminds me of how important it is to give players freedom to make choices. We don't want them to feel like the AI is controlling their actions or that they're just along for the ride.
For sure. AI should never be used to force players down a specific path or limit their choices. It's all about giving them power, not taking it away.
It sounds like finding the right balance is really key. If we rely too much on AI, we might lose some of our own creativity and our players might feel less in control. But if we use AI in a smart way, it can make our games better and give everyone more freedom to be creative.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act, but one that's worth trying. The benefits could be huge.
Another thing that comes to mind is that we might start to rely too much on AI. If we get used to letting the AI do all the hard work, we could lose some of our own skills in world building and storytelling.
That's a real possibility. It's like any other skill. If you don't practice it, you get rusty.
So how can we make sure we keep our skills sharp and don't become too dependent on AI?
I think it's important to keep challenging ourselves creatively. We should actively try to come up with our own ideas, even if we're also using AI to help us.
So it's all about finding that middle ground, using AI as a tool to help us be more creative, but not letting it take over completely.
You got it. AI should be like a partner in creating, not a replacement for our own imagination.
Well said. So to wrap things up, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this deep dive into AI and D&D?
I think the biggest thing is that AI has the power to totally change how we play D&D, but we have to use it carefully and responsibly. We need to be aware of the potential problems, but also be excited about all the amazing possibilities it opens up. In the end, AI is just a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in good ways or bad ways. It's up to us, the D&D community, to decide how we want to use this powerful new technology.
That's a great message. Thanks again to Paul Bellow and LitRPG Reads for giving us so much to think about. And to all our listeners, we'd love to hear from you. If you could use AI to bring any fantasy element to life in your games, what would it be? Let us know in the comments below.